But here we go. Let's talk about some StarCraft for a little bit here, because God knows I'm going to stop talking about it at some point and start rambling about other things. But in the meantime, spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Gressfon, we have the red Protoss player representing Apprentice Esports. DisK. Apprentice Esports wanted to see he was up to the task of taking down the mighty, the Platinum Heroes, the I don't know, I don't have any other descriptors. We have more adjectives. It's Vindicta. The Vindictive? I should have said the Vindictive. That would have been good. Dang it. Thought of it too late. Stay cozy, Harrow. Vindicta's starting us off a little bit spicy here, giving us a cheeky proxy racks. It is double gas. We could see a factory with this. I have a feeling the factory is going to be back at home, and DisK is scouting with a probe. I don't really know what to expect from this series, just because I feel like it has been so long since I've gotten to cast these guys consistently. I don't know where we're at in the meta here. Senju, thank you so much for the 17-month subscription. 17 months. That is a crazy amount of time. Honestly, if you had asked me, I'd have been like, Senju's maybe one of the shortest consistent subs on my channel. But 17 months, such a long time. Such devotion. Okay, Vindicta gonna get a little spicy with this, but DisK did make that Zealot. That's gonna help clear this up. I wonder if the right call is just attacking the bunker. I don't know. Vindicta's gonna cancel it and run away anyways. The Reaper is about to get here. That Zealot's gotta run back up. Zealot's just buying time for the Adept to get out. Probe's getting pulled. And this Proxy Reaper. Proxy Reaper's kind of a... Oh no, don't do it. I was gonna say Proxy Reaper's kind of a intense word for where this barracks is. You gotta get a repair on this SCV, dude. Alright, there we go. Whew. SCV saved by the boys. This barracks is not very far out. Okay, nothing's been lost just yet. Both the Reapers are here. Hellion's gonna pop out. DisK doesn't have any sort of wall here or any sort of shield battery out front. That does worry me a little bit as these units are coming back across. There is a stalker up in the base though. There's that shield battery. It's a little late though, and there's no units here to defend these poor probes, and I have a feeling we're gonna see a few probes go down. But the Adept and Stalker clear these guys up. Hellion's gonna run away. Reaper's gonna dive into the main base, but with the shield battery here, it's not gonna get anything done. Just gonna get the scout on the Twilight Council. And that's about that. Okay, so only a couple probes going down. I feel like a little bit more damage could have been done in the natural, but DisK, or Vindicta rather, wanted to scout. DisK is moving across. There is a robo going down. Not too crazy here with the second gateway, but makes me wonder if we're going to see more gateways go down and maybe a more committal build here to Blink. Cute little play from DisK. Gonna get a couple of SCVs. Trying to take down this Widowmine, and actually will take it down. Yep, down it goes. The SCV is gonna go hide in the bunker again. There's really just no units here. Vindicta was trying to hold on for the Widowmine drop. It has no units to defend this now. A Cyclone will pop out, but a couple more SCVs go down. I think that was pretty nice for DisK. I would say that was very nice. Killing that Widowmine and delaying the Widowmine drop, and maybe just completely stopping the Widowmine drop here. Well worth any amount of investment. And DisK has that third base on the way in the meantime. Wasn't a more committal build to blink. But it makes me kind of laugh because I just saw a post about using the word committal. Who was it? Beowulf was complaining about how casters use the word decimate to mean something other than the very first meaning of the word decimate, using it in a different, correct way. And Katz is giving him crap for using the word committal, which I don't think exists because there's the word non-committal. Ooh. 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 Man, that was close to a big hit. Vindicta trying to target down the Stalker and get that Widowmine to splash damage some of those other probes, but doesn't quite work out. Looks like 3 probes in total went down. I think a Hellion might have been involved in getting some probe kills. Vindicta getting +1 stim and combat shields behind this. So this game, I feel like, had a bit of a weird start, a bit of a wonky start, but we have gotten to a pretty normal mid game here. This should be nice for DisK. There's no tanks to really stop this from happening. Stim is not done yet. Oh my god, there is a tank. I lied. The tank's not on the high ground though, so still kind of true. Stalker's gonna blink backwards. Really nice target fire here from DisK. I mean, excellent Stalker control. Keeps all of those Stalkers alive and targeted down, I think, 5 Marines, maybe 6. That was really impressive for 5 Stalkers to get that much damage done without losing any of them. Feel like they got to be super careful now, though. That tank is down here, despite what I may have lied to you guys earlier on. Oh, you know what? It was the Raven that got a couple of probe kills earlier. That's what it was. I wonder where those came from. The Widowmine only got 1. +1 on the way. Temple Archives. DisK just macroing up, getting into Charge Lot, Immortal, and probably Storm. I imagine it won't just be for Archons. Vindicta's going to have a nice push timing here fairly shortly. Stim is now done. +1 is about to finish up. There is that siege tank and a bunch of barracks behind this. But it's a 3rd CC as well, so Vindicta doesn't have to like commit super hard to a push. Might just want to put some pressure on. DisK is spotting that this 3rd base is going down. Might have noticed that pickup into the medevac there. But the Stalkers are not moving to intercept, so I think this Widowmine drop might be able to get something done. We'll see if DisK is able to spot it with the Observer. Speaking of Observers, that one is now dead. DisK is actually going to go for a push here. And you know what? I lied to you guys. Well, I didn't lie. I was wrong. I thought there was going to be Storm researched. It was not. This is just for Archons. DisK wants to get as many units as possible, the power units, and start pushing at the front. There are some ghosts on the way out. EMPs could be really, really strong here, but the fake Archons out front is just such a beautiful play, and Vindicta's completely out of position to deal with this. The sensor tower finishes up just in time to spot that the army is already in range, and Vindicta just immediately taps out as DisK has way too much there. And Vindicta caught completely out of position and really just not expecting that push. Sorry, microphone was caught on the wheels of the chair. I feel like I'm struggling with the microphone today. There we go. We fixed it. So DisK takes game number 1. It did feel like kind of a weird start, though. I don't know, nothing seemed to go like super according to plan for anybody until DisK ended up getting some damage done with the Stalkers, and then I think mostly it feels like that didn't go super well for Vindicta. The Zealot and Stalker getting into his base, not really ideal. Obviously the 5 Stalkers blinking in. And getting some damage done there really hurt Vindicta's chance of going for any sort of push, and also his ability to defend, really. Vindicta might have just lost internet. I'm not sure. Okay, he's back. Just went offline for a second. We have him back. He has returned to us. We're ready for game 2. We're going to Babylon. Feels weird not using my stand-up desk today to cast. I've been getting used to that. Been very much enjoying it. But this is just a best of 7. Just the one. So I don't think I'm going to need it for today. But I do hope this goes to game 7. I want to see the full Monty here. That's what I want. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the blue Terran player for the Platinum Heroes, Vindicta. And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner, the red Protoss for Apprentice Esports, DisK. The Quebecois player. The best player from Quebec. Vindicta keeping the barracks at home this time. DisK actually checking around for it. Trying to figure out where exactly this barracks could be. But nothing cheeky here out of Vindicta. DisK starting up the Zealot, but I feel like he's going to cancel it once he sees that this barracks is back at home. And, yeah. Yep, canceled. Starts the Nexus immediately. Knows that he's safe from most shenanigans. There are some shenanigan possibilities here, but we're not really seeing that. Vindicta keeping it pretty standard. So hopefully the start of this game is a little less weird. I feel like because of the proxy situation in game 1, but also the follow-up of the like 2 Reapers and Hellion, that was why DisK was able to push across the map with the Zealot Stalker and just like get some damage done. It's kind of a weird opening from Vindicta in a way. But this one much more standard. Should give us a better opening couple of minutes. DisK going for the Twilight Council again. No Stargate here, no Oracles. Just straight into some Blink action. But that Reaper wishes it had Blink. Got glaved. The Adept, after killing the Reaper, decides to come over and do a little harassment of its own. Gets one Marine, but dies in the process. Stalker is feeling like coming across, but actually wants to just run into this Hellion. The Hellion decides, instead of going home, to just run around it. Looking very much like the same opening as last game for DisK. It's going to be a 2-gate blink into a third base. About as standard as you can get, honestly. And I would say this is a much more even opening so far. Don't have anything too crazy, just a little bit of a trade here. Vindicta going straight into the tank this time. So last game there was like a Cyclone, Widowmine drop that was kind of attempted, sort of, and then into the Stim Combat Shields +1. This one feels a little bit more straightforward. We'll see if he keeps the Raven with him. The Raven did some harass last game too. Vindicta was very harass-focused last game, and I don't think a lot of damage got done. And that is a real danger if you go for a harassment-based opening. You don't get any harassment done. It's usually very, very bad. A big part of harassment-based gameplay is you have to get the harassment done. You have to get a certain amount of damage done. Otherwise, it doesn't really pay off. A lot of those units don't scale super well as the game goes on. Unlike, say, Marines and tanks. Pretty good. Pretty much any stage of any game ever. Same with Blink Stalkers, if we're honest. Pretty good units. DisK checking everything out with the Observer. Vindicta doesn't seem to have spotted it yet, but he's a little bit busy with the auto turret harass. Doesn't actually get any kills here. It's a very passive game, this one. A little bit, a little bit back and forth here, but really nothing much going down. DisK is just waiting for Vindicta to move out. Vindicta does have a third CC on the way, but feels a little bit late. It feels like Vindicta wants to push here. And again, just such fantastic target fire from DisK. Grabs a Widowmine, gets another Marine. That's crazy. It's insanely good control. It's so hard to do this. Using that Observer as well. Stim is done now, though. He's going to Stim and try to run forward and catch these Stalkers. They do not, though. DisK gets out of there. Oh, another auto turret. DisK not paying attention, not pulling the probes yet. And does lose a few probes before that goes down. Stalkers on the backside getting caught here, but the Zealots on the other side just diving into this Bioforce. Oh, they are forcing it to Stim and run away, but a lot of it is not getting out of there. Vindicta does have some units back at home. He's going to get that tank sieged up in a nice spot. And the 4 Widowmines will be, I think, what pushes DisK away more than anything. Tries to go back in with the Raven, but doesn't have any more energy for another auto turret, so DisK is going to try to keep the pressure on here. Vindicta wants to go for a little Widowmine drop and just hold on with the tank and the little bit of bio that's here. But it's not much. It feels like DisK has a lot more. And I know the army supply is very similar, but this army from DisK feels like it could almost break this army of Vindicta right now. Even up the ramp, even with the Widowmines. Vindicta trying to take a third, but that army's still here. DisK is going to try to remind him of it. Ooh, some lovely force fields as well. Vindicta going to lift up and get out of there. Oh, but there's an Observer. The Widowmine's getting picked off. That is so painful. Medevac's going down as well. Oh, and some more force fields. DisK just absolutely mincing this army right now, knocking down Vindicta's supply bit by bit. The Observer finally gets killed, but Vindicta just not in a great spot, losing some SCVs as well, already down workers. There is a Widowmine drop going down here. I don't think there's an armory yet. These Widowmines aren't even invisible once they shoot. Vindicta playing with that Widowmine, but in the meantime, DisK moves in again back at home on the other side of the map. Takes down that siege tank. He's going to take down all the medevacs, and then he should be able to get this bunker. Maybe not. Looks like he's going to try to leave, but he's running into a bunch of SCVs that are just sitting here waiting for him, sitting ducks. And DisK takes game number 2. And just like that, DisK is up 2-0 in this best of 7. I will be right back. I'm gonna refill my water real quick. Grab another drink. I need the energy drink. You know, the post-work sleepiness is settling in. Okay. What's up, Saito? Saito got a root for that fellow Quebecois. Oh yeah, we got some sugar and caffeine here. I'll be ready to go all night. If you know what I mean. I was thinking about just streaming some StarCraft after this. Haven't done that in a while. Might be kind of fun. Oh, that's good, BP Sun. Some of the chicken emotes go better with the long body than others. Man, I really appreciate that in the loading screen for like custom games that I'm observing the pros play, it still gives the little tool tips. Your main base will run out of minerals eventually. Expand for further resources. Like, that's you know what? I think that's what Vindicta was missing last game. He really needed to just expand because his base was running out of resources. If only he had read that tooltip. Crazy how useful that is. But unfortunately, he did not. So DisK up 2-0 going into game 3 here. Best of 7, so we still have at least a couple games to play this out. I'm hoping Vindicta can pull it back a little bit. DisK is looking very strong at the moment. I feel like what I want to see from Vindicta is just like a really tight build. But it feels like DisK has been catching him off guard a little bit with these pushes. DisK is getting very aggressive off that third base. A lot of charge lots. There was Archons in game 1, but game 2 is even earlier, hitting before any Archons would come out. He's getting a lot of gateway units up. Marine first this time from Vindicta, so no Reaper to scout. We'll pick off that probe, but gonna be interesting. Vindicta might go for the Hellion a little later to try to get that scouting information. The Reaper did just kind of die in game 2. Even in game 1, I feel like the Reapers didn't get anything done. So Vindicta says, you know what? Fine. I don't need it. Skip it. Or just double down on Reapers. Why build one Reaper when I can build 2 Reaper? Duh. Ooh, 2 more barracks is going down here. Okay, so is this going to be like a 3 racks build? Just like good old-fashioned, get your stim, get your combat shields. Get your stim, get your combat shield here. Make your Marines. Or do you think it's non-stop Reapers? Oh, dang, 2 Marines. How funny would that be to go just 3 racks Reaper off an expansion? I think there's no chance that works, but maybe it could. Seems like a good ladder build. Oh, this is kind of nice. DisK not expecting the double Reaper. The Adept gets caught a little bit. Actually looks like maybe a Reaper will get caught a little bit. Tries to bop that Adept, but didn't really work. Now it's just 1 Reaper sneaking into the main. Look at the confirmation that this is the exact same build as the last 2 games. Oh, and something died over here. Another Adept. Shaded in and died. I don't think DisK can see those barracks. Ooh, we can see the 1 barracks. That's kind of a tell in and of itself. The 2nd barracks. DisK might have a decent idea of what's coming for him. That's really going to change too much about how DisK opens. Not like he has to do anything super crazy. Oh, but man, as I say that, Warp Prism coming out of this Robo. And this is 3 gateways, 4 gateways of Blink Stalkers. This is a 4 gate versus a 3 racks. Guys, I hate to say it, but 4 is a bigger number than 3. I'm getting a little worried for Vindicta here. Down 0-2. Now he's got to deal with a 2-base Stalker play out of DisK, whose Stalker control has already been just superb today. The last 2 games have been fantastic displays of Stalker micro. And I imagine we'll see more of that in Game 3. We're going to sneak in. It did see no 3rd base. I feel like Vindicta should be a little bit concerned about what's coming across the map right now. No siege tank here, it's just the bio. Stim is done though. So Vindicta could try to punish this. It's a tough thing to do. It's really, really hard to punish Blink Stalkers. Stalkers taking down a lot of these Marines. There are quite a few Marauders though. And enough Marines to take down that Prism. They're starting to chew through these Stalkers. Oh man, DisK might have overextended into that base. He's taking a 3rd base behind this. He's losing every single Stalker right now. 4 of them get out of there, 2 of them at very, very low hit points. And Vindicta takes a good fight. That is a very nice fight. And off the back of this, can get a couple of medevacs, can keep pumping out these Marauders. The lack of a 3rd CC here for Vindicta is a little bit painful. But DisK didn't really have any tech behind this. I don't think there's any charge or anything like that. Nope. The Robobay just now going down, as is the Forge. DisK seems to be pretty happy just trading a little bit here. Without the medevacs, these units don't like to stim too many times. Let's take a look at what the trades look like so far. Yeah, definitely better trades for Vindicta. Very crucial that that is the case, since this 3rd base is quite a bit later. The worker count is even though. I feel like Vindicta's mining is actually still quite good. And DisK needs to get on that worker production, getting those 3 probes out at a time. Trying to get into a Colossus. But with the medevacs, Vindicta's going to start pushing across the map. Stalker's trying to chew away a little bit at this army, but it's a lot tougher to do with medevacs and stim Marauders. I think by now they probably have concussive shells as well, which is just makes it that much harder. Okay, Vindicta gonna go for a Wood of Mine drop as he takes this 3rd base. DisK, What's the observer count looking like? 0. Not a single observer on the map for DisK, and that could be a big problem as these Widow Mines come over. Double drop to the left as well, grabbing the Stalker and pulling DisK's attention. Maybe this Widow Mine drop can get something done. Vindicta taking that third base and, again, keeping pretty even on workers. Very, very nice for the Terran. DisK is nearby. Army is not too far away, but Vindicta is here, boosting in with the Widow Mine drop. Probe's getting pulled immediately. All right, 3 probes going to go down. No armory, so no observer needed to clear those up. And the medevac goes down as well, making that trip not really worth it, but Vindicta's diving into the main as well. Gonna drop a Widow Mine up here. Gets another couple of kills. Still a lot of dead Widow Mines, though. 4 dead Widow Mines for 5 dead probes, plus a medevac kill. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it for the Terran. But I think, importantly, it keeps DisK on his side of the map. That way Vindicta can get this third base completely set up. He's got a couple more barracks, getting into a Ghost Academy and an armory as well. All right, this is what we like to see from Vindicta. This is the kind of game I was expecting. Games 1 and 2 caught me a little off guard because of how just DisK favored they felt. This one, a lot less so. Vindicta is actually up workers right now. His economy is skyrocketing ahead. I mean, if you add mules to that, this is going to be a very strong Terran economy. I'd love to see a 4th CC going down to just keep it going. But I think Vindicta's in a very nice spot. There's no 4th Nexus just yet. It looks like DisK is about to take it, but we're 9.5 minutes into this game. That does feel maybe a little bit late compared to what you normally expect. Really nice defensive setup here from Vindicta. The bunker, getting the supply depot out front. The sensor tower as well to really see if any of those run-bys come through. Marine's going to spot this base going down, chasing the probe away. DisK's army is here. But it's not that nearby. I think Vindicta might be able to get a snipe. Oh, he doesn't go for it. I really feel like he could have gotten a snipe there. That army was just a little bit too far away to stop it. But it is very dangerous because any units that don't get lifted up, even if the ones that do get lifted up, might get sniped by the Stalkers. Zealots get the sensor tower. Now we have a lot of DisK support in the chat. Where's the Vindicta fans? Where are my Vindicta boys? Hashtag mixed fighting. Not biased casting. I just gotta set the, set the balance here. Man, this is such a good game. Earlier I said, like, I wish Vindicta had a 4th base on the way. Did he have a 4th base on the way? Maybe he started it right after that. It's just like already here now. Okay, DisK setting up for an attack. He's got his main army over on the left here, moving through the center of the map with the Disruptors, the Colossi, big powerful army. And the Zealot run-by on the right is a very big Zealot run-by. This is a nice defensive setup for Vindicta. But it's a lot of Zealots. Ooh, okay. Liberator going to make this a lot stronger. So now Vindicta's got to really worry about the front and where DisK decides to push in. He's got siege tanks. He's got ghosts. He's got a bunch of Vikings. We've seen at least 1 Liberator so far, so we might see more pop out here soon. It's a very good way to fight against this army of DisK. But you do have to be set up for it. You got to get those EMPs. Got to avoid the Disruptor Novas. The tanks need to be sieged. Oh, bit of a late siege here. Disruptor Nova's going to get 2 of those tanks before the fight really begins. And you know what, though? The Zealots get pushed completely away. DisK, that counterattack not really working for him. This side's a planetary, so going to be a little bit less effective. Also, it has a Liberator, too. I love that. A little Marine drop up here. Trying to get some damage done. I think it's going to die or at least get pushed away. Oh, and Vindicta lifting up. He's going to go around the left-hand side with those medevacs. While he's still got these few Marines on the right. And he's trying to just defend the center with that main core of the army, these more expensive units. He's got to get in position near this planetary. Ooh, cancels that CC to get the tanks up here, and I like that move. I think that's a great move. Tanks are still a little bit far back, so these barracks are going to take some damage. I think that's okay. These are all the extra barracks. And again, this defensive setup on this side is just excellent. The Liberator holding on while the bunker just buys time. And the triple drop in the main base is unfortunately not getting anything done here, as DisK has a ton of units in the main. Big warp and a Stalkers. Looks like these Marines not really getting anything done either. And suddenly, Vindicta just lost a bunch of units, I feel like. But the trades are still very, very close to even. That does bode well for Vindicta. Both players are still very close to maxed here. 5th and 6th base is going down for DisK. That's some big stuff. Vindicta does not have a 5th CC. I don't think he's got one finished. He's got this one building in the middle here. But kind of a precarious place to build a command center. Look at the upgrades. +3 attack about to finish for Vindicta. 3-3 nearly done here for DisK. Liberator's going to siege up on this choke point. It's a tough choke point for DisK to fight through. Honestly, almost impossible. He's going to try to break the rocks and just make this a little bit more doable. Oh, Vikings getting caught here, and actually the Liberator's on siege at an inopportune time, and they get picked up by the Stalkers. Nice moves from DisK. Picks off a lot of those air units for basically nothing. This is still a very scary army for both sides, though. Crazy big armies. Liberator going to get killed here, but the Stalkers all blinked forward, so they are getting minced up. The Bio's got to back up. Big EMPs going down. Disruptor Nova's going forward. Is there enough Bio? A few more Bio units show up, kind of flanking from all the sides here. It works out really well for Vindicta. Disruptor Nova's not connecting at all. Oh, there's one more. Gets a pretty decent connection, but more Bio shows up from the right-hand side, and these Colossi getting targeted down. DisK's whole army just evaporates to that +3 attack Bio. Great spread of units from Vindicta. Started off kind of a weird fight. Ended up working out really well for him. Vindicta takes a 30 supply lead as he starts to take this 5th base, but he does need to put some pressure on. DisK he's got a lot of mining potential here. And that's going to allow him to resupply very quickly. He's got 3 Colossi building at once. He's warping in 10 DTs, but they do get scanned. If Vindicta happened to be looking at that scan, I know he scanned a couple places. He's got another. There's a bunch of DTs. These DTs obviously have blink. Now this planetary, there are 3 turrets here. You can't target those down. The planetary is always vulnerable to this, but the Liberator makes it a little bit more complicated for these DTs to actually kill it. Now that Vindicta knows these are here too, he might be a little bit quicker on the repair. DTs can still do this, but you kind of have to not be prepared for it as the Terran for it to happen. You gotta be a little late to the response. We do still see it a lot. I love the Liberator. I feel like that helps so much. Vindicta pushing over on the right-hand side with this triple drop. Gonna take down the cannons here. Might be able to target down the Nexus, but the Zealots show up. So he's gonna have to lift up and get out of here. But that was only the small part of the attack. The big part is here. He's gonna target down a lot of these probes, getting 12 of them just like that. Grabs the Nexus and knocks it back down to 5 bases to 5. The DTs are going to try to make that 4 to 5, but Vindicta is ready, and he's on the repair. Is it enough, though? It's not enough. Oh, my God. DTs are too good. Can we get a DT nerf, please? Jesus. Morphing into triple Archon before getting teleported out of there, recalled away. The Stalkers will clean the rest of this up. And you know what? That felt like it was going so well for Vindicta. And then boom, just like that, DTs actually get the kill. The repair was a little, okay, I was gonna say late. The repair was actually early, it was too early. He clicked on that to repair it, but it hadn't taken damage yet, so the SCVs didn't repair it at all. So the DTs got 2 free swipes in, and that was just enough. DisK is going to try to capitalize on this. This is a lot of zealots with this army, but it's a very marauder-heavy force out of Vindicta, and he doesn't seem to have a lot to deal with the 4 Colossi up here, as I think the Viking count is just these 2. Liberator's not really in position, and Vindicta's going to have to move this base. It looks like a few probes went down in the meantime, so Vindicta getting some damage on the other side of the map. It's actually a very low probe count for DisK right now. Ooh, I hope the CC can stay alive. Oh, the Stalkers blink in. They want to take care of it. There's nothing to repair it. Vindicta looks like he wants to try to push this army away. The CC died. I think DisK will back up. He's so zealot heavy. This feels like it could come back to bite him in the butt, though. The heavy amount of zealots he's got in this army right now. But DisK decides to back up. Vindicta regrouping. He's got a lot of Liberators with this army. Oh, big blink forward from DisK. That feels like it might have been a bit of an overextension, losing a lot of Stalkers for that. The Disruptor count is fairly low here. It's just the 2 of them. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell underneath this whole army how many Disruptors there are. But 2 Disruptors is not enough to stop Vindicta from getting a really, really good fight. You need those Disruptors to keep the Terran microing their army and basically stop the units from actually attacking. Vindicta's just sending a bunch of units on a suicide mission across the map. They're going to get a few probes. They're going to grab this Nexus. No, they're not going to grab this Nexus. Because of the super shield battery, they just target down the probes. A few of these units stim away. DisK coming back to clear it out. The Nexus staying alive is pretty huge there, but DisK down to 47 probes. It's a really, really bad economy. He's got to remake some of those probes, I think. Planetary trying to hold on here while the army joins back up. I feel like Vindicta doesn't have a lot here. These Liberators doing a lot of the heavy lifting to zone this away. USCVs go down. Oh, hearing Liberator noises. A lot more probes dying. DisK down to 36 workers. Oh my god, but a huge Zealot Warpin in the main. There's 4 DTs in this Prism as well. This Viking might be able to kill the Prism, but Vindicta's going to really struggle to clean this up. And at the same time, he's trying to hold on to both of these bases, but losing so many SCVs. DisK doesn't have a great economy, but Vindicta's economy is garbage as well. He does seem to have enough bio here to hold on to this for a little while. But as those 4 Colossi start pushing forward, I don't think the Planetary is going to last long. The Liberators are coming in. The Stalkers can try to target them down, but there's not a lot of Stalkers left. DisK does get pushed away. This base stays up. The main base is cleared. Vindicta does actually hold on to that. That's a very difficult thing to do. And in the meantime, he killed a lot of Zealots that warped in. DisK's economy has been so bad. The last few minutes of this game, not that Vindicta's has been much better, but the army supply is heavily in Vindicta's favor right now. And he still has that worker lead. This looks like maybe the main base that floated down to the 3rd. This looks like probably a very dead base here in just a couple of seconds. Disruptor is zoning to make sure that happens. A bunch of dead SCVs as well, but we have another Liberator being annoying. This Liberator is here stopping DisK from mining from his only fresh base. DisK is finally making some more probes, though. He's got 6 Nexuses. He's making 6 at a time. Vindicta's going to push across the map, though. He feels like he's got the army advantage, and he absolutely does. He's up 40 army supply right now. It kind of doesn't feel like it. A lot of these units are very supply dense. Ghosts and Liberators, they feel like they don't take up as much space. Oh my god. The Observer going to spot this huge, huge pickup. DisK is going to try to come over and stop it, but he can't get there in time. He's going to go for the recall into the main base, recalling a bunch of units up there. Vindicta's got to get the drop down. He's got the Liberator sieged up, but now he's in the base. There's the Colossi here. EMP's going down, though. He's taking down this army. DisK's army supply absolutely plummeting. The rest of the army too late. The Disruptor is not going to be here in time, and GG gets called. Vindicta gets a point on the board, taking game 3 off of DisK, and what a game that was. Started out very slow, and then we just kept chugging. We just kept going. That was an exciting one. Hot damn. Yeah, that was a huge Doom drop at the end. Really did drop Doom. on DisK space. Vindicta utilizing the advantage he had in the army supply to do that, and I feel like the recall was a good idea in theory, but not having any disruptors with that is super painful. Those disruptors are a huge part of the army, and especially when the Terran army can't micro. Like when you drop into a main base, one of the reasons I hate Doom drops against Protoss is because you don't really have anywhere to micro. But in that situation, there were no disruptors, and what Vindicta had there was stronger than what DisK had there. He didn't need to micro. He just landed some EMPs and hit stim. And it went pretty damn well. Now we come off the excitement of that game. We got to cool it back down for the start of game number 4 here. Ancient Cistern is our map. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner, it is Apprentice Esports DisK. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner. For the Platinum Heroes, it is the Blue Terran, Vindicta. That was such a hard-fought game. Vindicta ended up taking it, but there was some really key engagements, I think, that went Vindicta's way. It feels like once the game gets a little bit later, into those later stage armies, Vindicta has maybe a better sense of how to take those fights. It was a very complex army from Vindicta, and DisK wasn't that complex. It was very zealot heavy. A few colossi to just kind of bruise everything. The disruptors and the stalkers were where the real micro was from DisK. But it felt like Vindicta was able to counteract those quite well. And the disruptor count never got super duper high, which I feel like is crucial. I think Vindicta ended up killing like 5 or 6 of them in an early fight. That really helped get him a lead that he never really lost in terms of the army. This is really annoying from Vindicta. I actually haven't seen this for a hot minute. The engineering bay block. It makes me wonder if Vindicta has like a unique follow-up plan, or if this is just being annoying for the sake of being annoying. This playing Protoss on ladder and getting hit with the NG bay block is like the worst thing in the world. I remember sending my probe down early just to make sure it didn't happen. It shouldn't mess DisK up that much, really. And he's just going to get into another Twilight Council. I imagine we'll see like a 2-gate blink, like we did in games 1 and 2. Another 3 racks here from Vindicta, which really stopped that 4-gate out of DisK. I was over here like, oh, 4 is greater than 3. But DisK went in and just got absolutely decimated by the army of Vindicta, stimming down, taking down that prism, and killing a lot of the stalkers to push them back. It did feel like last game was the game of Vindicta taking really good engagements. Like everything else felt pretty even across the board, but I think Vindicta's engagements were generally speaking better than DisK's. And it makes me see why DisK might have gone for those earlier attacks in game 1 and 2, trying to, I guess, kill Vindicta before he gets to that stage where he is really scary with those maxed out armies, with the big armies. He's got excellent control, landing those EMPs, getting the good splits, sieging up all the Liberators. It feels like DisK might be a little bit afraid of that and has been trying to take Vindicta down early. Even last game with the 4-gate blink. Trying to take him down before that stage of the game. Stim combat chills on the way. I think Vindicta will start up +1 here pretty shortly. DisK not going to get the scout on the barracks. I think if the Adept was here, it would see the barracks. But the Shade doesn't have, well, Shade doesn't have very big view, very wide range of vision. But DisK just saw a lot of units. I feel like you kind of know it's 3 racks. Quick Robobay from DisK. Actually, there's no... Oh, there is. Okay, I was like, is there no blink? Am I crazy? Blink's just already done. There's so much blink, it's already done. Ooh, big stim out of Vindicta to try to push this away. Grabs the Stalker, but the other Stalker's a little too quick. And a lot of these Marines are very, very low now. Medevacs are going to be crucial, but DisK is going to try to come take advantage of that fact here momentarily. Targeting down a few Marines. We've seen DisK be very good at this. That poor observer getting knocked out of the sky by the missile turret and the Marines. God, DisK's blink micro is so good. Every single game he's taken like a few blink stalkers and he's just killed a handful of Marines without losing a single one. He lost one stalker earlier that just kind of had weird pathing while the unit stimmed. Crazy. Even grabs a Marauder that time, couple of SCVs. Medevacs are almost out to help Vindicta's army heal up. But in the meantime, DisK has a Colossus back at home. He starts up a second one. Thermal Lance is already halfway done. Scan to see if there's a base there. Vindicta sees no base. He's probably going to assume there's one here. Which there is. There is one here. So it'd be a good assumption if Vindicta assumed that. He's going to go for a drop and just try to defend with these Marauders, which is plenty to push these Stalkers away. I wonder if DisK is noticing that there's some units missing. Might need to send something up into the main to try to handle these Marines that are going to drop out. It's just 8 Marines, but they do have stim and +1. Vindicta's third CC is done, so he's going to go grab that base. Last game, it felt like the early game. Vindicta had either an even or a better economy than DisK. That's not really been the case this game. Ooh, this is nice though. I did not see the Widow Mine drop going down into this base. And actually, both Widow Mines get seeded. No, just one gets seeded. It gets a couple of kills. But the main base is pushed away by the Stalkers. Really nice Stalker warp in here from DisK. So it doesn't end up taking too much damage to those Widow Mines or to the Marines. Question from chat. Does he have a second eBay? Nope, doesn't look like there's a second eBay. There's an armory going down. +1 armor is on the way on the first eBay. We might see a second eBay go down shortly here to coincide with the armory finishing up. There are ghosts coming out already, though. Very quick into ghosts is Vindicta. Obviously, ghosts extremely good against everything Protoss has, but not particularly fantastic against Colossi. Like they could chip off the shields like they can everything else, but the Vikings, I think, are going to be pretty crucial here as well. And DisK looks like he wants to go for a push. He's grabbing a 4th base. It sounded like a Marine died, so Vindicta's going to know this is coming. Oh, and he's going to spot this army and tries to push out, but ends up losing a bunch of bio units to not really much at all. The armory finishes just in time, though, and I don't think there's an observer here. So a bunch of Zealots take damage from that. There's a few more mines as well. DisK is going to try to circumnavigate them, and, well, he's going to kind of end up running right into them. Takes a couple of massive hits. Dead center of that Zealot army. These Zealots are down to 45 hit points. And Vindicta, with a huge spread, he'll easily be able to hold this. At the same time, Super Shield Battery is defending these probes against the Marines. Marines are going to stim into the main and just try to target down a few more probes. Looks like they'll grab a couple more So Vindicta getting some damage on the other side of the map, keeping that worker count even. DisK's 4th base is nearly done, but Vindicta does have a 4th CC started as well. Disruptor starting to come out. We all know how important those are to a Protoss versus Terran situation. Disruptors, they don't really have a hard counter. The hard counter to Disruptors is get good. Pay attention. Don't ever be not paying attention. That's the counter to Disruptors. I imagine we'll see a Dark Shrine. And we do see a Dark Shrine. Get those DTs out. The DT blink. Saw them take down a base last game. Didn't really do too much other than that. I think they helped defend a little bit. The thing about DTs is they're very expensive. So they kind of have to do a lot in order to really be worth it. It's kind of nice from DisK, getting some harassment going. Not seeing a lot of SCVs go down though, so they seem to be getting cleaned up fairly quickly. But as I say that, the main base doesn't have any defense. And these Zealots finally starting to get a little bit of damage done. Goes for the recall on the Prism to save it. Will save it. I feel like this would be the perfect time for the army to be pushing the front. But not going to be the case. Hey, there's a second eBay now. 2-2, a little bit offset here for Vindicta. I don't think there's a second forge for DisK. As I say that, there is a second forge finishing up right here. So +2 attack's going to finish up. I think Vindicta's going to be a little bit ahead in upgrades. Really not much, though. It's actually kind of insanely close on both of the upgrades between them. Woodamines and Disruptors having their little back and forth. DisK taking a 5th base. Vindicta's 4th getting set up here, turning into a planetary. Ooh, a fusion core gonna go down. Gonna get into that Liberator range again. That was really important last game, actually. It really stopped DisK from being able to mine from his, like, was it like a 6th base or something? 7th base, maybe? We could see something like that happen again. I don't know if there's any spots on this map that the Liberator can sit over the mineral line that a Stalker can't kill it. It is possible. If nothing else, that Liberator range is just so nice to have in fights. Stalkers really have to commit to take it down. Vindicta has armies on both sides of the map, and it looks like DisK is mostly just grouped up in one big old Protoss death ball. But DisK rather, has been much more careful not to take those kind of fights like last game. Last game, Vindicta took a bunch of really good fights. DisK has not given him those fights this game. And in fact, he's going to pick off some of these Vikings and push this army back. Vindicta's getting ready for a bit of a surround, though. DisK has to be very careful about that. Oh, I'd love to see a scan from Vindicta so he knows exactly where this army is at. Big blink forward to get that sensor tower, but that means Vindicta's going to have a chance to get this army from both sides. Disruptor Nova's coming in, getting targeted down. Disruptor Nova's not hitting very well. And again, Vindicta takes a fantastic fight. He is pushing this army back with no more Disruptors to cover the retreat. I think DisK just has to get the hell out of here. He's been EMP'd, and he's lost a lot of shields. His Liberator decides not to siege up, but actually helping to kill the Colossi. Stalker's trying to fight straight up against the Marauders, but DisK needs to back the hell up and get a warp in going. He's got DTs trying to kill another planetary. Is it going to work this time? No, it's not. There's enough SCVs here for the repair, and the planetary stays alive this time. Vindicta with the clutch repair to keep his 4th base up, and he's going to go take a 5th. He's got another orbital being built. Vindicta looking fantastic right now. He's up 40 supply. DisK does have this 5th base. He's got a 6th base on the way, but it's going to be right next to Vindicta's base. Oh, and actually it looks like this Prism. Is this Prism in range of the missile turret? Maybe not quite. It's going to run away. Ignite Afterburners on the way. An important upgrade that will make Medevac's boost a little bit better. Does it make them boost longer? I think so. Oh, we're seeing that Liberator range come into play a little bit here. It's going to be so annoying to clear that up. DisK is trying to move forward, trying to stop this base from happening. Widowmine's going to get the confirmed scout that this base is, this army is coming. That is going to be a dead base. So DisK, with a really nice move here, takes advantage of this planetary not being ready, the army not all being here. And Vindicta loses that 5th base attempt. Liberator does finally get cleaned up after getting some kills. Worker count's actually very similar between the two. Sure, ghost shoot. Armies are so close to each other. Vindicta's trying to get some counter damage, so now I don't think he knows about the 6th base in the corner. I feel like he'd just go grab that. Oop. Nice dodge on the Disruptor Nova. Second one, though, gets a really nice hit there. A ghost, a couple Marauders. DisK still only on 4 Disruptors, though, but he's making a couple more. I do feel like you want like 6 or 7, but so far Vindicta's taken fantastic fights. Last game and this game, and really dodged those Disruptor Novas so well. DisK taking down rocks, moving through the center. Vindicta gonna dive up here. He's gonna spot this. That will let DisK know exactly where, well, not really the army. It is just a couple of units. The rest of Vindicta's army is down here. I love that Vindicta keeps sending these lone Marines out to die, but also to scout. Oh, and he's going to try to catch this army in the middle. DisK is not ready for this, and he's getting sieged up by the Liberators. Oh, a lot of Zealots and Stalkers going down there as DisK just passed through. The base dies to the 5 units. They do have 3-3, though. Oh, and a Liberator at the same time, getting some probes. 10 probes going down. Vindicta getting some great stuff done, and this base is now set up. It's not a planetary, which is a little dangerous, but at the same time, he's setting this one up in the very top center. That is going to be a planetary. Disruptor Nova goes out, gets a couple of ghosts. This is a dangerous position for Vindicta to push. I don't know if I really like this push very much. And he is going to back up. I feel like he's got to be a little careful here. DisK trying to catch him on the backside. Oh, but DisK is in the main. There was a prism, and there's a lot of stuff going down here to the Zealots, to the DTs. DisK is so far away, and now this orbital command is going to be under threat. It is being repaired. A couple of Liberators here really helping out. Vindicta doing a good job zoning this army away, making it a lot harder for DisK to push in. But it looks like he's going to send the SCVs away, send them to the other side of the map where the planetary is. Now DisK is going to clear this base, be able to take all this down, including the CC. It is worth noting, though, DisK does not have a 6th base. He didn't take this one. He hasn't been expanding at all. He's just sitting on 5. Says he kills that one. It is still going to be even bases, even worker count. Army supply slightly in favor of DisK, but honestly pretty much even. 4 Liberators on the way at a time. Ooh, but we got carriers coming out. It's carrier o'clock. Are carriers the way to go? I really don't know. I feel like carriers are better now against Marines, because the Marines will try to auto-attack carriers, and against Liberators, which used to just like splash damage the hell out of interceptors. But now they'll just be shooting carriers aimlessly. This is so many Liberators, though. Yeah, there's 6 Liberators here. There was 7, but one more died. Just trying to push in, but Vindicta's zoning him away. Vindicta actually going to go for a triple drop here. Maybe try to hit over on this side. Liberator going to siege up. Get a couple of probe kills before these Stalkers take it out. Oh, DT's going to spot this drop. Oh, man, these DTs getting huge damage done on this drop. Planetary's pretty good. DisK moving across now. This Liberator is going to be the information for Vindicta that there is an army here. I think he might have seen those carriers as well. 2 carriers is not that scary, though. They only have +1, and there's actually not even any shield upgrades for DisK, which I feel like is a bit of a mistake. If you're trying to get into carriers, I mean, just in general, I feel like shield upgrades are pretty good. But that triple drop has now made its way over to this base. The DT is not going to be enough to save it. And down it goes. That means it's still 5 base to 5. DisK lost a lot of probes as well, down to 55 of them, as these Liberators keep coming in and stopping him from mining. This base is just not mining at all. Oh my god, this one too. And this is kind of how Vindicta won last game, I feel like. He just kept DisK's economy so low that DisK was having a really tough time remaking the army every time they took a fight. And Vindicta was also taking good fights. Jesus. 14 Liberators. There are 14 Liberators with +3, +1. They have +2 armor on the way. DT's getting cleared here. DisK trying to dive in. But, I mean, there's a bunch of Vikings as well. I feel like these carriers are just not going to be long for this world. I guess interceptors are like kind of cool or something, but this is feeling like a much stronger army for Vindicta. Obviously, disruptors can always change things up, and there are a lot of them. We have 8 disruptors out, and that is going to be a big difference from last game as well. If only 1 or 2 of those gets a good hit, this ground army could just be destroyed. You see a couple Disruptor Novas going out, not getting the best hits, though. I think it's going to be enough to keep Vindicta back. Ooh, good blink forward. Can grab a few of these Liberators on the retreat. Vindicta, though, still way up in that worker count. It does mean DisK's army is going to be a lot stronger. Or a lot bigger, I guess I should say. Higher supply. But it means Vindicta will be able to resupply a bit better. DTs are going to try to hit the topside base. There is a Liberator here with this planetary. Only 1 turret. But DisK going to try to distract him so he doesn't get the repair. Disruptor Nova's going out. DT's coming in. Vindicta's ready for it, though. This is decidedly not a planetary. But it looks like DisK is going to blink out. Wants to keep these alive as long as possible. I like that move, actually. I really like that. He forced a big cancel. I don't even know what was here. But he forced a bunch of cancels, and he was like, okay, I'm leaving. Bye. Not going to lose anything for this. It is not worth it. And he was right. These Liberators are so good for Vindicta. Such a pain to clean up every single time. DisK finally has this base set up. It's not quite mining yet. He's still just on 49 workers. He's trying to get this one and this one go double expanding, and at the same time pushing in for an attack. Can he take a good fight here? Liberators say maybe not, but there's a lot more carriers now. 5 carriers is much more substantial. 2 more about to pop. And I feel like that's pretty significant. The repair a little bit late on this planetary, but the Widow Mine's going to make all the difference in the world, and that is going to be a live planetary. And a live planetary. Excuse me while I use correct grammar. Vindicta once again this is the second time this planetary has lived through some DTs. At the same time, Vindicta moving down here, he kills that prospective base. He's gonna move over here and take this one down now. And still, this one's not mining at all. Big problem here for DisK. His mining has been abysmal. Vindicta's been mining way more. And this very forward base feels very exposed here. It feels like Vindicta's taking an okay fight. Ooh, a big Disruptor Nova, though, says maybe not. What is the interceptor count? We got to keep an eye on that. 21 left. Still a pretty decent amount. However, Vindicta's going to hold on. He's going to push DisK back. And DisK is spending a lot of money attacking into these planetaries. And they're not going down. They're staying alive. Which means DisK's economy is staying garbage, and Vindicta's is staying much better. He's finally going to start mining from this base, but I mean, look at the supply. Vindicta has been chilling on 200 supply for such a long time now. Super Shield Battery is helping out, but I think as soon as he targets that down, this base might just straight up die. DisK is going to go for it. He's going to attack in here. The Liberator is not sieged up in the right spot. Vindicta moving back over by the turrets. He's got a bunch of turrets built. DisK is going for the base trade, it looks like. I think this might be the right call. A base trade here, it's a little bit scary, but yeah, Vindicta's got a few units in here. The Zealots should be able to clean that up. The triple drop into the main base is really nice for Vindicta, scanning in case any DTs get warped in. But does he have anything to actually deal with these carriers? He's got a few Vikings and a few Liberators. It's not enough in the air, which means he has to take a really good fight with the ground army. These Marines are going to be so crucial. The Ghosts need to get some massive EMPs. We did just see one nice EMP on top of the Stalkers here. But it's so hard to take an engagement against these carriers once they're in the base. DisK might be able to turn this around with this base trade. And I feel like Vindicta's army sitting here is a problem. He should either have been across the map like a minute ago, or he should have been trying to take this fight while it was on flat ground. Now DisK is in his main. He's forcing all these barracks away. He's killing a bunch of the production. He's going to be able to get both of the starports that are in here. A lot of these barracks. Vindicta's not going to be able to build anything. Look at his money already skyrocketing up. Vindicta is clearing a lot of DisK's production as well. But that's not really what matters here. DisK's army is what matters. He's got a bunch of disruptors underneath a bunch of carriers. Still has Stalkers as well, so Vikings alone won't be enough. Liberators alone won't be enough. Vindicta's got to take a very good and a very smart fight here, and that's going to be really tough to do. I think DisK might just go for a recall. I don't know if leaving is the main is the right call. He does have this base up and running. Vindicta has the upper left base though, so he still has a decent set of bases. He's rebuilding the factory so he can rebuild starports. He's got a few barracks left. Planetaries might be able to get like 1 or 2 kills before they go down. Oh, Vindicta's just running away with his base. He's just desperately trying to get to the corner here. He's like, maybe he won't check the corner. This has become a wild game. DisK's only mining base is this one. He is barely mining from this. There's like a couple mineral patches. DisK is about to lose his last mining base. So while I think this was going really well for him, all of a sudden, Vindicta's on 3 mining bases. He's got some production back. He's got a bunch of turrets here, which is going to really help against the carriers. He still has a very sick army. Going to set up the Liberators. Oh, Disruptor Novas to take down the missile turrets is really, really smart. DisK playing this really well. Ooh, going to grab some SCVs as well. Oh, gets a big hit into the army, too. Oh, my God. There's no turret here. There's no turret here. Does he have a scan? He's got a scan. Oh my God, it just blinks away. DisK is so good. Look at how well he's playing this right now. He's on 27 probes. He's got like no mining at all. He's just trying to hold on with this army. He's got enough minerals in the bank to keep the interceptor count up for these carriers. And Vindicta's having such a tough time taking a good fight. He's being so patient though. He's not giving up. He's not giving in and just stimming and trying to win, because that will not work. Not against this many disruptors and this many carriers. He needs to take a really smart fight here. Continuing to zone. Getting these Liberators sieged up. Picking off units 1 or 2 at a time. There's not a lot of gateways left. It's like 3. So DisK can't really build anything right now. We see that army, or that money has gone way, way down. Disruptor Nova's just trying to chip away at some of this. Really smart play from DisK. Honestly, insanely smart. Scan to see if this base is here. Vindicta's got to be happy to see that that base does not exist just yet. He's going to lose this base. He's going to sacrifice it. I think that's absolutely the right call. DisK finally getting some more money from this long-distance mining situation. But Vindicta still has this base. He's happy to lose that one. He's on 3 mining bases to 0. Like half a mining base right now. It's going to be 1 mining base in a second. Now, this Nexus will stay alive, but Vindicta knows that it's not currently mining. Oh, no! The Disruptor Novas, though! What did I say? I said the only way to counter Disruptors is to don't ever not be paying attention, and Vindicta broke the rule. And all of a sudden, he lost a bunch of army supply. He's got to try to defend here, but this Planetary, I think, is going to be dead. That being said, DisK moving up that ramp could be a throw. So he's going to actually pull back. He doesn't want to set himself in a corner. Imagine like 6 Liberators on this ramp. That is not the position DisK wants to be in. He's going to try to hold this Nexus. He wants to get some shield batteries up, maybe some cannons even. He wants to try to hold that Nexus. That's going to make it really tough for Vindicta. Man, if DisK would send one Zealot over here just to scout this, that would be pretty crucial. Is Helene going to sneak in? And not really get anything done. But confirms that that base is there. That base is mining. DisK only on 30 workers, though. Not mining a ton. Vindicta still mining way more. He's also on 3-3-3-3. There are never any shield upgrades for DisK. His carrier's only on +2 attack. Oh my god, more Disruptor Novas going down. DisK gets some hits, but not the huge hits he was looking for. Disruptor's trying to zone. Vindicta not able to get that position on the ramp that I think he was looking for if this army went up there. Just a little bit too far back. He is going to set up the Liberators as this army gets pushed back, though. He's got a couple of Vikings as well. Just chipping away at these carriers. Vindicta's supply blocked now, which is kind of brutal for him. Oh, man, these Disruptor Novas are so good. But DisK decides he doesn't want to take this fight. He's got to back up. There's so many Liberators. 11 3-3 Liberators. That is insane. Woo. Ooh. Man, these Disruptor Novas have hit so well in this late game, though. DisK expanding again, finally finding some money in his pockets to expand. This base is, honestly, it was already kind of mined out. It's getting a little low here. There's a lot of gas, but not a lot of minerals. He desperately needs another base. Losing that one to the upper left is painful. Disruptor Novas just trying to take out some things at a time here. There are SCVs running across the map. DisK might get a little suspicious from that. Where are these SCVs coming from? I think one of these buildings was sending SCVs across. Oh my god, we have the engagement though. DisK going into the Liberators. I don't like that at all. The splash damage onto the carriers is actually pretty huge, and they're starting to take a lot of shield damage. Liberators do a ton of splash damage when they have this many of them in the sky with 3-3. Vindicta setting up some positions, starting to work in towards DisK's base. Might be able to take down this Robo. Not the most important thing for DisK here, but would be nice to not lose that position. DisK pulling back. He was very aggressive for a long time, and I don't think he's as confident that he can win a fight now. And Vindicta's going to start being the one pushing across the map, trying to stop Vindicta from taking these bases. Oh man, he has so many Liberators. This is such a tough fight for DisK. If DisK had like money and still enough to make Tempest, this would be where he'd want to do that. Disruptor Nova's going out. This is it, the final fight. Liberators trying to kill the carriers, but they are auto-focusing some of the interceptors. Is there enough here for Vindicta to kill these carriers? Because I think if he kills those, he might just win this game. He's pushing DisK back. GG gets called. Vindicta finally clears that end game army. Man. Oh, these long games are so good. Vindicta ahead for so long in that game, but the base trade really threw him off. Ended up going pretty decently in DisK's favor. DisK had the much bigger army for such a long time. But Vindicta was incredibly patient, just waited. He didn't engage, he just zoned. He said, I can't stop you, but you can't come any further. And they were both really just back and forth. I think DisK thought he was further ahead than he was. Vindicta going to take a little break here. Don't blame him, that was an intense game. That was 2 intense games in a row. Man, insane. Sheesh. That was good though. Oh man, that was so good. The disruptors were so crucial at the end there. DisK was able to keep Vindicta's army supply down pretty significantly by just getting like a few units here and there with the disruptors. Are they camping? Is that why they're intense? This is where I ban Fractal. Except I can't ban them because I make that joke all the time. And yes, both players are camping while they're playing this. If you're not playing StarCraft while camping, I mean, are you even really camping? Oh, that's such a good game. It's so hard to like pull it back after a game like that. But we're going to Royal Blood. We're all tied up now. And it is starting to feel like when the game goes late, Vindicta has a better shot. I mean, so far, the long games, as the armies get kind of big and more complex, Vindicta's been taking the better fights very consistently. And a lot of it does come down to that patience, waiting until he has the opportunity to hit from multiple angles, making sure he gets everything sieged up, everything EMP'd first. And if he doesn't have that, he just backs up. It's crazy. The patience is so crucial. So we might see some early gameplay in this one, because spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Royal Blood, our Red Protoss has so far only won the shorter games. It is DisK trying to represent Apprentice Esports here in this Apprentice Esports Showdown. But his opponent says, no, my friends. This is the Platinum Heroes. And it's Vindicta. Trying to win Dicta. Oh, I'm glad this is close. I was worried after those first two games. It's like, man, it feels like DisK just has his number. Oh, no. Not quite. I was also sad not to see nukes in that last game. I think we might have seen some nukes if that base trade hadn't happened. And then the game got weird. At that point, you don't really want to spend money on nukes. So I kind of understand why you wouldn't do that. It was such an intense back and forth, too. Like, DisK kept the pressure on those 3 bases of Vindicta. But I think really crucially, Vindicta was actually on 4 mining bases after that base trade. Like, it felt like it went well for DisK because he killed a lot of production, but Vindicta killed a lot of production too, with just like a handful of units. Then he ended up on 4 fully mining bases, a couple of them planetaries with a bunch of turrets. And I was like, oh, okay, so Vindicta's actually in a much better position. Like, once he got his production back up to scale, it was definitely, I don't want to say his game to lose, because DisK's army was still very scary at the end. But DisK wasn't able to, I guess, overcome that. His economy was just so bad. He was barely holding on. Is a nuke 100-100? I guess that could be right. I honestly don't remember. Vindicta going for the second rags here after the factory. Not going for the classic 1-1-1. 100, but it adds up. Yeah. I think a lot of it, too, is, like, focus. Again, DisK didn't really give Vindicta a chance to like, breathe and start the nuke, get a ghost around the corner of the map. I don't even know if he had cloak for his ghost. He probably didn't. So all of that's a lot of focus. It's a lot of attention you have to pay before you can get nukes going. And Vindicta just didn't really have that time in the last, like, 10 minutes of that game. It's a lot of setup time, but then once you're all set up, it puts the onus on your opponent to react. And I think it's something that's hard about nukes, but it's something I really like about them too. Once you have the nukes, you've got ghosts with cloak, you've got a ghost on the other side of the map in position, which can be a hard thing to get. Then your opponent's the one who's got to deal with it. If they don't deal with it perfectly, well, RIP. This game, though, looking just insanely standard. DisK going for 2-gate blink, just taking a third. We are going to have quite a few bio units here out of Vindicta. He's getting the third barracks up. I think this might be a pull the SCVs kind of game. Couple tanks out, 3 racks. Stim will be followed by combat shields. +1 going to be starting up here pretty soon. And then I think he goes with like a couple of medevacs. I feel like is the plan. Quick charge here for DisK, and actually double forge. Ooh, okay. So DisK going for a heavy gateway style. I really like this style, actually. I wonder if we'll see kind of the Zest move here, where he gets the quick Templar Archives and goes for a quick Storm. I feel like he doesn't quite have the gas for it right now. He hasn't been taking any of these gases. Yeah, it's just more gateways going down. Okay. So this is just going to be super, super heavy Zealot. 1-1 started up here. And he's just going to make as many Zealots with charge and 1-1 as he possibly can. Will Vindicta be able to push across the map before that happens? +1 in combat shields are on the way. Medevacs are coming out soon. CC going down. I thought that was going to be 2 more racks here for Vindicta. So he isn't going to go completely all in with this. He might still go for a push. But actually, I feel like this push could be really dangerous if it hits a little too late. If DisK is able to get this 1-1 out and just keeps warping in Zealots, it's so hard to fight and to charge lots with siege tanks. Oh my god, another observer dies though. Damn. R.I.P. those observers. There's the Templar Archives. We did see in game 1 DisK go for, I feel like it was kind of similar to this. I don't know if there were as many gateways, but it did feel very similar. He had a lot of Zealots, he had a few Archons, and he went for a push, ended up just, it kind of just straight up killed Vindicta. That game 1 was a little weird. But this time, I actually feel like Vindicta's playing right into DisK's hands here. I think if Vindicta just takes a nice solid third, get some supply depots set up to defend, I feel like he'll be great. I feel like if he doesn't do that, DisK might be about to win this game. I do not think Vindicta's army wins this fight. This is so many Zealots, a couple of Archons coming in. Oh, and the scan doesn't see any of those Zealous. No, don't run back and scan. Don't run back and scan. Okay, some of the Zealous have been spotted. Vindicta starts backing up. I feel like the scan seeing those Zealots. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to see. 2-2 started up for DisK here. Well, he's not going to push across the map. Doesn't want to commit to a counterattack. Maybe doesn't realize that Vindicta turned around. And yeah, Vindicta is just going to defend this third. Okay. Can he defend it though? Because DisK is coming. DisK is like, all right, I made a bunch of units. I got to use them. The tanks are sieged up really nicely here. 4 of them. Not a lot to block these tanks though. I would love to see a couple supply depots out front just to hold on. There we go. Engineering bay, but it's a little too late. And both of these tanks are going to go down immediately. A lot of Zealots, or a lot of SCVs out here are going to die. Bunker goes down. Vindicta not able to protect this third. Not enough anti-air to kill it. This is not what Vindicta was looking for. It looks like he did get some damage on the other side of the map at the same time, though. But look at DisK's worker supply, 63 to 47. Vindicta really needs to get this third base down. He needs to get that mining. DisK doesn't want to take the pressure off though. Looks like he's going to hit the main with the Warp Prism. There's no defense for that. No turrets. No units up here at all. And he's going to hit the front. Oh, this is going to be really brutal for Vindicta to deal with. This is feeling very, very nice for DisK, who has a 4th base up and running during all of this. Huge warp into the main. Units trying to stim up to deal with it. But does Vindicta have enough on the low ground to handle this army? Yeah, you know, it kind of feels like the answer is yes, if he gets some decent EMPs. Yeah, there's a couple of them, but the tanks are going to go down pretty much immediately. I don't think there's enough bio here, and the main is still beset upon by the Zealots. The Prism will go down, I think, to that Viking, but I don't even think it matters. Vindicta's army is gone. He's down a bunch of army supply right now. He's got like, what, 2 Marines on the other side of the map? 43 workers. He's going to finally clean up these Zealots. But the third base has been pushed away again. There's no bunker here. There's no tanks here. DisK decides not to commit in, but oh my god, he even gets that medevac. This is feeling like a good victory for DisK right now. He is up 65 supply. The Prism didn't even die to that Viking. He kept flying away. This looks like a decent fight for Vindicta. I think that Prism can dive into the main base, and DisK doesn't care. Even trades are great for DisK. Even a bad trade, pretty good for DisK. He is mining so much more than Vindicta, and as this Prism hits the main and warps in another big round of Zealots, I think we're going to see a tap out from our Platinum Heroes Terran. There it is. GG. DisK takes game number 5 and goes up 3-2 in this series. This is a best of 7, which means DisK is now on match point. It's been a close one. It's been a very, very close one. But again, we see DisK with the earlier pressure ends up being able to take that. It feels like until Vindicta's like fully set up, has a really good economy, and is on even footing, essentially, in terms of eco and in terms of tech. It feels like until he gets to that point, Vindicta is a little bit vulnerable to the pressure from DisK. I think a lot of it has been Vindicta not expecting what DisK is throwing at him. He doesn't really know exactly what he's up against. And in that game, it felt like he almost had the right response. The pullback to defend the third, I think, was a good call. But like the eBays weren't there to protect the tanks in time. The army split wasn't exactly, I think, what he was hoping for. Ended up working out very, very well for DisK, going for the heavy, heavy Zealots. I'm waiting for map number 6. It's going to be Neo-Humanity. We forgot the mod. Ooh, Wimpy. Requesting. A bit of a yeehaw! As we get on into game number 6 here. Neo-Humanity loading up. Thank you, Wimpy, for that request. I appreciate it. I want to see them yees and them haws in the chat. For a measly 10,000 bits cheered on the channel, you too can have a yeehaw emo. All right, let's hop on in to game number 6 here. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Neo-Humanity. We got ourselves a Terran player. A real American hero. Vindicta. Well, he's a platinum hero. He's an American platinum hero. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner, the Canadian. It is Apprentice Esports DisK. I appreciate all them yeehaw emotes I see in the chat. We could do a bit of a southern cast. You know, I usually, if I get a yeehaw request in between games, I usually introduce the players as such. Normally after that, I'll drop the accent, go back to kind of normal casting. I think I'll probably do that here shortly, but just enjoying it while we got it. You know, the early game, not a lot of spiciness happening here for us to worry about. Well, looks like Vindicta was maybe thinking about going for an NG Bay block, but decided against it. Or forgot. Or was too late. What does he do? Actually, nah, I know what this is. I think he's going to build a bunker back here. I think he's going to do the cheeky bunker to get the Reaper in there. Factor going down back at home. Yep, there's that bunker. DisK is going to spot this. He's going to go, what in tarnation? I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life. Except that he will have seen this a number of times and actually may even scout for it. Well, it looks like it might be too late. Yeah, Dep not going down there. And this is going to be annoying to clear. DisK still don't know about it. You Dep about to spot it. This is where, as the Protoss, you just take a deep breath. You get moderately annoyed. The Terrans can just be building bunkers out here. Vindicta could pop out the SCV as well to try to repair a second Reaper showing up. And there's the SCV popping out to repair this bunker up, making this as annoying as is physically possible. All right, probe goes down. Shield battery is up though, so we shouldn't really see much else die here. I love the Reaper grenade. SCV popping out, popping in, trying to get some repair going. Oh, down it goes. Did the Adept die? Oh my god, and in the meantime, what was that in the main? Actually, I have no idea. It was a Hellion. 6 probes going down, and the Adept did die now. A Stalker died as well. Oh my god, this has gone just fantabulously for Vindicta. And I think with that, it might be time to let the accent go. Casting is extra hard when you're trying to do an accent at the same time. So the Adept shaded away to try to kill the Hellion that went into the main base. I missed that Hellion going in there. And maybe just missed it for a second too. Is able to clean it up, but 7 probes going down. I mean, this is just a great trade here, as we can see. For Vindicta, he even got the salvage on the bunker, getting 75 of those minerals back. Feels kind of BS, but you know, that's Terran for you. At least they don't get 100 minerals back anymore. So a nice opening for Vindicta, and we finally see some of that harass opening work out for Vindicta. So far, whenever he's tried to harass early on, it feels like it really just hasn't done much. It was kind of nice to see Vindicta get some early game victories here instead of just the late game stuff. And this kind of stuff can snowball pretty quickly. DisK paying attention though, not going to take a ton of damage from the Widow Mines. Looks like one might go off here momentarily. Well, it's a lot of Stalkers that have warped in. These Stalkers have Blink. They're going to kill this medevac. Oh my god. Trying to target down different things. Finally, the Widow Mines will shoot. Just trying to delay as long as possible. Get a couple of probes, but that's not really worth a medevac and 2 Widow Mines, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Vindicta gonna send the Raven out now to do some harass as well. Maybe? Question mark? Alright, there it goes. Part of the wrong control group. Charge on the way behind this for DisK. Just single forge though, so not going to be what we saw last game. Could be some sort of variation on it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be as aggressive out of DisK. Which is a little surprising to me, considering just how well that's worked. The heavy Zealot aggression from him has so far worked 3 out of 3 games that he's tried it. It's a little surprising that he's not just putting the pressure onto Vindicta to figure out how to handle it. Because I feel like if he just goes heavy Zealot here once again, would that not work? I don't know. It's a good question. I love the little hodgepodge of units here. This is like, it's like the Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli group. Just one of each, just hanging out together, trying to defend. Vindicta going for another drop. DisK just watching the front with the stalkers. That's 4 more gateways as +1 is being chronoed out. So you know what? DisK might just go very heavy sell it here. Just not with the double upgrades this time. A little bit less investment in those. We are going to see a 4th base go down as well. See if this drop can get anything done. We don't have anything in the main here for DisK right now. Obviously, warp-ins are a pretty good ability. Vindicta's starting to move out. He is being spotted by this observer and by the stalkers, who are going to try to pick off a marine or two, but we're just going to have to run away. Marines dropping to the main base, get a few kills. There's a recall to get those stalkers back home, but it's just stalkers down here now and a handful of zealots. Vindicta might have a time to try to attack. Oh, but the rest of the zealots show up right before those tanks siege up. They're still not sieging here. And Vindicta a little bit late to that. He's going to lose one of those tanks. The other 2, though, killing a lot of these stalkers. But I don't think there's enough bio left to clean up the rest of these zealots. He's going to stutter step against them. I mean, bio pretty good. But those are 0 upgraded bio units. However, drop hitting the natural, getting a few probe kills, targeting them down. Damaging a few stalkers, but that is about it. It looks like Vindicta's going to have to head home, tail between legs. Let's take a look at the resources lost. It's honestly very, very even. Vindicta going to take a 3rd base here very shortly. The worker count's dead even. So the mining has been very close. You know what? This is a very close game. That felt like a decent start to the fight for DisK, but he lost a lot of stalkers against those tanks. And then the zealots didn't do quite as well as I'd expected. We ended up in a fairly even trade situation. Vindicta has that +1 finished up now, so the upgrades are even dead. Even dead even? Oh, that's odd. DisK trying to push through the middle. I don't know who closed the debris here, but the middle has been closed. I think Vindicta's got a good setup, though. I feel like DisK is not going to want to push into this. And there's a Raven, so the observer can't even hang out here. I don't know if I like this for DisK, but Vindicta's not paying attention, so the stim is very late. Widowmines get a couple of decent hits. Anti-armor missile going to be quite nice. Zealots getting on top of the SCVs. The bio should be able to deal with that very shortly, though. And that's going to be a lot of dead zealots. DisK is going to have to run away. Oh, and at the same time, we got 9 probes going down to a Widowmine drop. So the worker damage gets even up. It looks like this medevac is going to die in the middle of the map. He's trying to go home. Not going to happen. So again, bit of an even back and forth. I think that was slightly better for Vindicta, though. He killed a lot of zealots. Oh my god, and this Widowmine didn't die. Oh no! The cannon will finish up before the next shot, but that's 2 more probes that didn't have to die. Couple Widowmines trying to run in. They're like, medevacs? We don't need no stinking medevacs. Turns out they do need medevacs. These Marines don't, though. They have one. But they just kind of ran in. We're going to take down the shield battery there. At the same time, bit of a fight in the middle. This is a better fight for Vindicta, though. Zealots push this away, but they can't clean it up. DisK doesn't have a lot of warp-ins available to him right now, but Vindicta is going to leave anyways. Zealot run by pulling him back home, killing a couple of SCVs. It is 4 base to 3 right now, so DisK doing a nice job economically. Might want to get a couple more probes out, but he has lost a few. He's not really mining much gas. Oh, Stalker's a little bit out of position, but it's okay. They have blink. They're not going to blink. Vindicta trying to push through the middle again. Upgrades are still dead even right now. 1-1 for both players. Oh, this is much better for Vindicta, though. And he's pulling the boys because you know what? He's deduced. There's no splash damage. The Colossus is not quite out yet. It is going to pop momentarily, but the boys are here. Super shield battery goes down, but a massive anti-armor missile, and this Colossus is on the backside. Vindicta going to send a few units back that way to fight it, but all the SCVs are dead. The super shield battery healing everything up. And Vindicta, I think, making a big mistake here, fighting into that overcharged shield battery. But does he have enough Marauders left to clean up the rest of these Stalkers? No, not quite. Not with a big Warp and a Zealots. 24 SCVs just died. And for what? For what? Vindicta is stimming and running home right now. He just pulled all the boys, and a lot of them died. The army supply is still slightly in favor of Vindicta, but he just can't take the fights. And just like that, Vindicta not able to take the game. DisK wins game 4 and wins the series 4-2.